This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Drum Mastery by Tad Sisler. Foreword. My mother, Elaine Witt Sisler, was a child prodigy pianist. She performed as a soloist for the Chicago Symphony at 17. I grew up in a musical environment, and my focus was on piano. Still, like many boys, I was fascinated by the drums. When I was 10, my mother found a drum teacher, and for almost a year, I used my 2 drumsticks and practice pad to learn all the rudiments of drumming. These exercises helped me immensely with timing and hand technique, which proved invaluable for my piano playing. Still, unfortunately, my teacher was strict and one-dimensional. I was never allowed to play on a drum set, so I lost interest in playing the drums. Tad Sisler's mother, Elaine Witt Sisler, at age 16. Source: Sisler Private Collection. However, I stayed with music, and I've had a fantastic career as a performer, producer, composer, editor, and author. On stage as a musician and band leader, I've enjoyed working thousands of gigs and recording sessions with the best drummers on the planet. As an author, I recently won a coveted Reader's Favorite Award for a biography I wrote on the life of a famous trumpeter. As a pianist and keyboardist, I learned the nuances of performing using both hands on multiple keyboards and both feet on pedals while singing. I understand how hard it is to play the drums proficiently. Most of the challenge is just getting through the learning experience through hours of practice and coordination exercises. If you want it bad enough, like I did, you can have an extremely rewarding experience for years. Playing drums is a lot of things, but 2 things always stood out to me as I watched the greatest drummers perform. The first was their hand-to-eye coordination and the ability to synchronize their hands and feet to play complicated polyrhythms effortlessly. The second, and vastly more important thing, was timing. There's a saying I've heard, so many drummers, so little time. Yes, I've heard groupies say that, but mainly musicians who perform with so many drummers who begin to rush, or their timing is all over the place as a song or a night of performing progresses. Locking in your timing is more valuable than any significant ability to play complicated rhythms. The other important considerations for a first call drummer are playing in the pocket and not overplaying unless the gig calls for it. Music has always been in my blood. This fact made it easier for me to learn because I had a burning desire to improve every day. If you have that burning desire, you will cruise through any setbacks or difficulties and shine. My friend Andy Fraga Sr. was a great piano player, performing with many iconic artists while he was alive. When my twins were in the 7th grade choir, Andy's son, Andrew Fraga Jr., was in the 8th grade band. He sat behind my twins in a performance, banging a cymbal when it was his turn. As time passed, I watched Andrew become a proficient teenage drummer, doing paid gigs at 14. When Andy Sr.'s heart began to fail, I promised him I'd keep an eye on his kid, and after he died, I kept my promise, making Andrew my business partner. We worked as music developers for Yamaha Corporation of America for 10 years. He went on to play first as a lead percussionist for major Broadway shows, and then as a first-call drummer for almost every major headliner in existence. Today, he is known as one of the world's finest drummers. His persistence and dedication to the craft made him into what he is today, a far cry from that cymbal-crashing 13-year-old I first saw perform. Andrew Fraga Jr. Credit: Fraga Personal Collection. Stick with it and enjoy the process. I promise it will be worth it. Medical disclaimer. The information provided in this book is intended for informational and educational purposes only and should not be used as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or before beginning any new health, fitness, exercise, breathing, or dietary regimen. The exercises, techniques, and suggestions.
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.